Hello and welcome to the first edition of On Location for the 1998-1999 school year. I'm Kyle Berger.
And I'm Christy Zabrodsky. The school year's just begun and already we have a busy show for you today. On this extended edition of On Location, we'll take a look at some of the happenings this past summer, including the 1998 North Penn Career Camp for middle school students and the Merck Institute for Science Summer Workshop for teachers.
We'll also see what our staff has been busy doing all summer at the North Penn High School, the North Penn Transportation Department, the North Penn Summer Library, and throughout the school district with our technology team.
And if that's not enough, we'll be taking a look at some events that happened at the tail end of last school year with North Penn High School students who sponsored a special event for the residents of Brittany Point and students of Gwendor Elementary School whose science project landed them a trip to Disney World.
And of course, we'll be taking a look at the North Penn Marching Knights outdoor marching program.
Whew! Our show is jam-packed today. It seems like our schools never close.
And on top of all that, we're here on location at the Educational Service Center in Lansdale. We'll be introducing you to the administrators who work in this building, and we'll find out what the S in ESC stands for.
But first, the school year has officially begun, but before students arrive September 8th, the entire staff of the North Penn School District participated in a district-wide convocation. How do you get over 1,600 people together at one time? You put them all on a school bus, of course. With a little help from the North Penn Transportation Department, the employees of the North Penn School District were bused to North Penn High School for a district-wide convocation. As the employees headed into the high school, they were greeted by the new superintendent, Dr. Robert Hassler, and the new assistant superintendent, Dr. Donald Venema. The award-winning North Penn Marching Knights provided the entertainment as the crowd took their seats. After greetings and introductions, Dr. Hassler explained the role of the North Penn administrators to the staff.
I've been using this statement and this quote in a lot of interviews I've had with newspapers, and it's really going to drive my work as the superintendent of North Penn. This is a quote that I picked up from Dr. Don Langlois, my professor at Lehigh University. And he said, Bob, your job as an administrator, whether it's a building administrator, whether it's a sports service administrator, or whatever, is to clear the roadblocks so that teachers can teach and kids can learn. And that's going to be our focus. We spent the summer at ESC and Cabinet working with our administrators and talking about what does this mean? What can we do better in order to put this into place? What can we do to support what you do in the classroom?
He also discussed the building level and district goals for the new school year, while Dr. Venema highlighted the initiatives of the district.
We are doing something very, very significant with technology. We've talked about it, seems like, for 10 years. Some things are finally happening in very significant ways. This effort that is taking place this past summer has been incredible. You heard Bob mention all of the work done.
So have a great year and good luck. Thank you.
With excitement in the air, the faculty, staff, and administrators of the North Penn School District headed back to their schools to clear any roadblocks so the teachers can teach and the children can learn.
Well, right now we're joined by Dr. Bob Hassler, the new superintendent of the North Penn School District. How's it going so far in your first few weeks here?
Just great. We had a great opening to the school year. All the buildings opened without a flaw. We did a lot of planning this summer in preparation, and I'm just thrilled to be the superintendent, and I'm excited for the year to come.
When we say ESC, a lot of people aren't exactly sure what that means. What happens over here?
Well, the ESC is the Educational Service Center. It's the central hub of the district, in a sense, in providing support for buildings. One thing we can't forget about, we're here to help support what happens in the classroom, and that's the bottom line. So we have the finance office over here, we have student services over here, we have human resources and curriculum, and all our jobs are to help the students in the classroom and help teachers be able to teach.
Now, what are some of the goals for yourself and for the school district for this upcoming year?
Well, obviously, number one is getting to know the district. I've been here a year and a half, but it's a different role now that I play as a superintendent. So number one, getting to know the community, getting to know the district, the teachers, and also, again, always focusing on students and learning. So we have basically three major goals for this year. Number one is student achievement, how we can increase student achievement. Number two is to take a look at each individual building and have each building come up with a goal for themselves. And then number three is supporting a big adoption this year, and as everybody knows, that's in technology. So anything we can do to support the implementation of technology.
Okay, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Sure.
Okay, right now we're going to take a look at a camp that was held at North Penn this past June to help North Penn students carve out a career for themselves. We all remember summer camp, don't we? Singing around the campfire, eating toasted marshmallows, all of the arts and crafts projects. But for some North Penn students, their memories of summer camp will be a little different. As part of the partnership between the North Penn School District and Bell Atlantic, Pennsylvania, the first career camp for students provided 8th and 9th graders the opportunity to explore a variety of career pathways.
I think this is just another example of a great opportunity students have to get out into the real world and be able to see the connection between what they do on a day-to-day basis in the classroom and what careers offer for them in the future.
When I was approached by Karen Holmes and the Career Development Partnership Program, we felt that this was an initiative that we could support and partner together for the betterment of the community and the young people in the North Penn area.
For 12 days in June, the campers participated in a myriad of activities, including a trip to Washington, D.C., a teleconference with students from Florida, and numerous tours of area businesses.
We were able to go right onto the tarmac and see airplanes come in. We visited Mike Marino's office. We toured the detectives' offices and went into the forensic labs. So the students had many opportunities to see different types of careers, the work environment, the type of building, the type of dress that they would wear, all of those things that deal with a career.
At the end of camp, the students presented their experiences to their parents, administrators, local business representatives, and politicians.
First stop, we're here. The reporter.
Whoa, look at that printing press.
Oh, that's huge.
And did you know the reporter has human resource people?
No.
This trip might not be that bad, I guess.
Maybe not.
Whoa, look at the conference room.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know, this trip was really great.
Mm-hmm.
The unique experience was well received by students and parents alike.
I think it's important for students our age is because before I came to this camp, I had an idea what I wanted to do when I grew up, but only to an extent. And when I came to this camp, I realized it kind of changed. I think it's important for students my age to learn about this kind of things because so you're not in high school and you still don't know what you're doing. So this gives you a hands-on experience for things to do.
The main reason I think it's important for kids of Dominique's age to come to a career camp is that a lot of times in school they get so caught up in the social aspect of school that to really start focusing on what the future has for them is not seen as quite the cool thing to do. But here in camp they're surrounded by other children and parents and adults who are nurturing the children thinking about what's going to happen in the future. And I think that's very, very important for children.
For the middle school students of the North Penn School District, Career Camp provides a wonderful opportunity to glimpse into their future. Every year there seems to be more and more interesting activities to help fill the void of summer, and this Career Camp sure seems like time well spent.
Well, right now, Dr. Betty Robinson, Director of Staff Development and Assessment, joins us. Welcome to our show. I guess first off, I should ask you to explain what staff development and assessment are.
I'd be very happy to do that. Let me start by answering your question in two parts. First, let's talk about training. Training is what we consider staff development, and we provide training for our employees, both instructional and non-instructional. And we provide training in a variety of areas. This summer, for example, we offered over 2 days of training for each teacher in the area of technology. We've offered training in the science partnership with Merck. We've offered training in when we adopt new programs, such as our reading. So training is a very integral part of what goes on. From the non-instructional support side, we've offered training with the transition that we've made in our computerized system, so that secretaries as well as attendance secretaries and our business office people have all been trained in the new Penimation system. The assessment piece of our office deals with what would commonly be known as testing.
Now, Dr. Robinson, what does the North Penn School District do to promote meaningful staff development?
Well, I think one of the things that we do is discuss training from the beginning of a project. So, for example, with the Penimation, and let me talk about that again, we knew that training would need to be provided for all of our staff, particularly secretaries having to use different software packages. So one of the things our office is responsible for doing is sitting down and talking with the different project managers and deciding what training needs to be given to help support the success of the project.
So what then does testing involve?
Testing involves our standardized tests that we administer across the district, as well as the PSSA that students take. And the assessment piece also goes into not just giving the test, but analyzing the test results so that we can do a better job at our instruction.
Great, thanks. As part of North Penn's ongoing partnership with Merck, teachers spent a week this summer learning and developing new science lesson plans as part of the MISE summer workshops. For the last 3 years, North Penn Elementary School teachers have had the opportunity to attend workshops sponsored by the Merck Institute for Science Education, and this year was no exception. For 3 weeks this summer, the two education partners came together at Wallen Farm Elementary School to explore science education in the classroom.
In doing this, what Merck decided to do was to work with its education partners to create a teaching force that really has a new vision for the teaching and learning of science. So our first programs at the Institute have involved working with teachers to expose them to some of the more recent, some of the more effective strategies for teaching science, expose them to some of the best curriculum materials around the country, and also to build networks among teachers so that they can learn from each other, share effective teaching practices. I think our basic philosophy is that the best way to learn science is by doing science. So what our programs really emphasize is to provide a very, very rich set of experiences for teachers to actually experience science. So what we've done is create instructional teams that have individuals with a variety of skills as instructors. One or two of the members of each of the instructional teams have very, very strong content background. So these are geologists who do geology for a living, or chemists who do chemistry for a living. And they're able to provide some very, very deep and rich experiences for the teachers. And as the teachers actually experience and do science, they learn a great deal of science. At the same time, they also learn a great deal about how to teach it most effectively to their students. I think the important thing is that these workshops reflect the needs of the teachers. One of the very, very important aspects of a workshop is to delineate very clearly what are the learning goals for the curriculum materials. I think it's pretty clear that these curriculum materials generate a lot of student interest. What is frequently less clear is the answer to the question, what have the students learned? Or did they learn the science that is behind these curriculum materials? So we spend a reasonable amount of time early on identifying all the learning goals. We also move on from that point to work with the teachers to identify some very important and effective teaching strategies And then we move into areas of, well, how can we use mathematics? How can we use technology in order to better support these curriculum materials? Another important part of the institute or of the workshop has to do with student performance assessment, to answer that very important question, what have the students learned? Assessment, I think, is playing an increasingly important role in our workshop. And of course, there's always plenty of time for discussion among teachers if they've taught this material before, to share some of their teaching strategies. One of the, I think, very, very important features of our work with teachers is that this work is ongoing. It just doesn't stop at the end of a wonderful one-week institute during the summer. But we work with teachers to support them during the academic year. We bring the teachers back together so that they can reflect on what they've learned. They can share their experiences. They can bring student work samples to the table. And they can enter into many, many conversations that are very, very rich. We have, I think, a fairly good sense of the progress. We also have, I think, a fairly good sense of some of the issues and concerns that all the partners share. And I think that it's fair to say that the partnership has made an enormous amount of progress over the last few years. And I think the reason for that is that we've really had our eyes focused on one goal. And that has been a very, very common goal, and that is we're doing this to improve student learning. We're doing this for the students. And after all, the students are the future of our nation.
Speaking of staff development, right now we are joined by Dr. Judy Miller, Director of Human Resources for the North Penn School District. First off, what exactly goes on in this corner of the ESC?
Well, a lot of things happen in this corner of the ESC, Kyle. Our primary responsibility in this office is, of course, to hire and to provide all those services that our employees need throughout the year and to get them through the hiring process. We do interviewing here. And of course, we interview in a lot of places. A lot of people help us. We don't just do it ourselves. We have principals and assistant principals and supervisors and teachers, department chair people that help us to interview to find the best teachers, and not only teachers, but the best aides that we can find, the best secretaries that we can find. We have to employ over 350 substitutes so that we can have them in the classroom whenever teachers are absent. We hire administrators in this office. So all of that coordination happens right here in this office. We deal with benefits in this office and helping people sign up for them and explaining it all to them so that they'll know what they're entitled to. If they get sick, they'll understand their health benefits. If they have any problems with their families and they need time off, other time off, we help them with that. They get their sick days, we explain all of that to them. So we take care of all of that in this office. We also get ready for board meetings so that we can present all that information to the board, and so that the board will know who we're hiring, and then they can make informed decisions so they can approve. That's primarily what we do here.
So what's the process for someone who'd like to be a teacher at North Penn?
If you're asking me, what does somebody have to do to make themselves known to us so that when the time comes for interviewing, we'll know who they are, we have an application process, and we have put a whole packet together of materials which we're eventually going to hopefully put on the internet so that people can access it that way. But most people simply call our office or write to us and express an interest in a particular kind of job, whether it's an elementary job or a secondary job or whatever kind of teaching job it is, and then they must take care of doing that application and writing the essays and taking care of all their clearances and writing anything in that application that they need to write that we need to know about them. We have an addendum sheet so that they can prove to us that they're computer literate, and we ask them all kinds of questions there. We want to know about all kinds of interests outside the classroom as well, so that if we have teachers who have been championship swimmers, and they want to work with kids in swimming. Well, that's wonderful for us to know as well. So we want to know also, we need their transcripts. We want to be able to prove that they went to school where they said they went to school and that they did well in school and that they know their subject area, because we want to feel good about putting the best teachers we can out there.
Okay, Dr. Miller, thanks a lot for joining us
You're
today.
welcome.
Well, another area of support operations for the North Penn School District is the Transportation Department.
They've been working hard all summer to ready our buses for state inspection and the start of school.
Another department that continued to be extremely busy preparing for the 1998-1999 school year is the North Penn Transportation Department. All summer, the staff of the Transportation Department has been busy creating, maintaining, and updating school bus routes, as well as complete service and cleaning of the fleet of 133 school buses. In a school district the size of North Penn, coordinating the transportation of our students is no easy process. Before the school year ends, the transportation staff begins gathering the information needed to update the nearly 114 routes for the North Penn School District and over 50 routes for the non-public transportation.
The process is K-students first. Then we do several downloads based on new students coming into the district, students leaving the district, and we kick out all the seniors, get rid of the seniors. Then after we're done with the kindergarten routes, we start with the senior high school routes. They have to be first because they're the first school. That's the leading tier.
Once school is over for the year, office staff and routing specialists take suggestions from the drivers and start the process of creating the new school bus stops with a program called EduLog.
It's the entire district plotted on a map, and this is Walton Farm Elementary School, which we can break out in elementary, and I don't know how well the camera picks this up, but that's exactly where every child lives in the district, and our EduLog operator knows how many students are in that particular elementary school, how many are going to need to ride the bus, how many buses I need for that school, depending on how many are riding, and then develop the routes accordingly.
Each route is then checked and double-checked by the staff. They are physically driven to make sure it works as well on the road as it does on paper. Once all the routes are updated and checked, they publish the listing of bus stops for the community. After the routes are published, most questions from parents concern the location of the child's bus stop.
We have a lot of requests every year for house stops, for changes, and the major problem is every bus that's rolling in the first tier has got 2 more schools to go to. Most every bus. And we have a real narrow window. We got to deliver the high school kids by no later than 7:15. And they're dropping those kids off and they're rolling to go pick up middle school kids, and they got to get that done by 8 o'clock, and then they got to go get it on. So every bus is committed to a follow-up run. Add 1 stop on 1 run, and I've lost a minute or a minute and a half, and 90 seconds on a bus run is an eternity. If I add 3 stops on a particular run, if I acquiesce and give in to some parents, and add 3 stops, he might make it to his first school on time, but he sure isn't going to make his second or his third school.
Keep in mind that most of the stops are designed to minimize the need for students to cross busy streets. While all of this is going on, the mechanics and staff continue to clean, repair, and perform preventative maintenance for the yearly Pennsylvania State inspection.
It's really an ending for them, but a beginning for us. And we get real serious on the last day, give or take a few days when school ends, and get into major maintenance, phase 2, phase 3 maintenance projects, overhauls, rebuilds.
Maintenance obviously is not just a summer task. All year round, the mechanics perform major mechanical repairs and preventative maintenance for the fleet of 133 school buses. Buses are serviced and checked for safety every 3,000 miles, which is quite frequent considering that each school bus travels approximately 60 miles a day. The nearly 150 employees are absolute professionals who make their #1 job the safety of the nearly 13,000 students who ride a school bus.
Safety dominates everything here. It comes before efficiency, it comes before economics, it comes before everything. We have a multifaceted safety program. It begins with all drivers need to be certified, and they're certified through a state-regulated process. We have certified trainers here.
The bus drivers help promote the message of safety through an impressive presentation for the students of the elementary grade levels.
We use props and puppets, and we have 8 drivers that devote a whole lot of time to getting the message. We get them when they're 5, and we never leave them alone. And then we have, in addition to that, evacuation drills, bus drills, all the things that are mandated as well as part of the safety program. North Penn is the only school district ever to receive an insurance award from, ours happens to be Cigna, and we got it 2 years ago for safety in accidents and minimal losses and no injuries.
Now, when we had the chance, we tried to find the truth behind the saying that if your bus is 15 minutes late, you can go home. Mr. Cochran, the answer, please.
No.
Spell any myths about that?
No, that's not true. You can't go home. Stay there. The bus will be there. And if he missed you for some reason, you can call and we'll come and get you. We never leave him standing and we never leave him go home. We'll find a way to pick you up.
Sorry, guys. I just report the facts.
Mr. Art Wood, Director of Facilities, Buildings, and Grounds, joins us now. He also oversees the Transportation Department. Mr. Wood, tell us a little about your staff.
Well, we're very proud of our transportation staff. We do have a group of people that service our buses and service our mechanics. They have an awesome task, as you know, throughout the summer as they prepare their buses for the opening of school and, of course, for the state police inspection, which happens annually. That coupled with all of our scheduling people and our office people, and of course, the people that make it happen daily are our drivers, and we're very proud of our drivers. We're proud of their record as far as safety is concerned. They take the extra time to treat children the way they need to be treated, and they also go from school to school presenting safety programs each year. And if you recall, a couple of years ago, we received recognition for our safe driving record, and this reflects, of course, on a reduced insurance premium each year.
Now, since we're talking about the ESC today, and you've been with the district now in your 40th year, we figured you'd be the best to tell us about the history of the ESC.
I would think that I'm probably one of the few historians remaining. The ESC was an outgrowth. The borough of Lansdale in the 60s built a 12-room elementary school. And it was primarily a walking school, and it was a walking school before we had a very busy intersection at Hancock and Church. And it was kind of landlocked because it contained just 5 acres and was part of the overall North Penn Junior High School, which is now the Penndale Middle School. And as a result, we had it mothballed for a number of years, and the board then decided that it would be a prime location, centrally located in the district, for a district administration building. So the redesign came about and the refurbishing, and thus today we have the ESC.
Now, your facilities staff has had a very busy summer. Tell us what they've been doing.
Well, this summer was no different than most summers as far as getting individual buildings ready, which we do each summer, and we do that with the assistance of student workers that we employ each summer. But coupled with that, as you know, we opened the new cafeteria piece at the high school, which required quite a bit of work on our part to get ready for occupancy. And of course, we began the project, broke ground at Knapp, and that has been underway. We put 2 temporary modular classrooms at Gwynn Noor, and we did a lot of other projects as it relates to painting and basic maintenance that goes on each summer. So we've had a busy summer. That staff, interestingly enough, is to be complimented for the type of work that they did and the way our buildings look. We had overall, with all of our departments, whether it be food service, transportation, or facilities, I think we had a very smooth opening for the school year 98-99.
Definitely. Well, we're going to check in and see what the custodial staff did over the summer and the many jobs they accomplished.
With the 1998 school year coming to an end, the majority of the North Penn School District's employees head home for some summer fun. But the Facilities and Maintenance Department is just getting geared up for the busiest time of the year.
Basically, in all our buildings, we're renovating the school, cleaning light fixtures, walls, desks, floors, refinishing floors. Our maintenance staff goes in and does projects such as our phone system upgrade at the high school, pulling wire, doing a lot of things that we can't do while children are in school.
North Penn High School has always been a demanding effort to clean. However, this year, construction and technology have added a new twist to the cleaning situation.
North Penn High School is very challenging this year. We have a lot of construction work going on in the front of the building, in the rear of the building, the parking lot. They're creating a lot of dust, so as we clean, we have to re-clean.
This summer, I feel, has been the difficult one because just so much going on, and with the, we had a lot of interference, I guess. Usually we don't have the interference, the building's ours.
And just how many people does it take to keep North Penn High School in tip-top shape?
We have 2 utility mechanics, and they kind of do anything. Doorknobs, pencil sharpeners, anything you ask of them, they do. They work outside, anything you need, but they're really utility mechanics. There's 2 of them. There's 1 electrician that does all the electrical work, the wiring, the lights, whatever I need electrical-wise. Then there's 2 groundskeepers, and then we have 3 cleaners during the day, and we have 11 cleaners at night. But in the summertime, we bring everybody from night on today, so we have all the cleaners together. And then we'll usually get 4 summer kids. I'll keep 1 outside, and I'll probably put 3 inside. No work with the second shift as far as maybe the stripping crew or cleaning the desk or moving furniture. They kind of just mesh right in with us. We take each classroom, we take the furniture, we clean all the gum, and we clean the furniture, chairs, what I mean is furniture, take it out of the room, strip the floor, put 3 coats of wax on every classroom in the whole building. We do that. We clean the hallways, we clean all the bathrooms, we reseal the gym floor with a sealer coat so it's nice looking for basketball.
Cleaning is not the only priority of the North Penn High School custodial crew.
I just sent 2 crews around this week to check every room for pencil sharpeners, which is a minor thing, but it's a big thing to a teacher. Pencil sharpeners, formica that came loose on countertops, bookcases that came apart, teachers' desk legs that are falling off, doorknobs that don't work, and that kind of stuff. And then I also have another crew going around and doing light. We clean all the light tubes, and we put all new light tubes in. The burned out ones we replace. So we do that every summer also.
And let's not forget the 80 acres of property outside the North Penn High School windows.
Well, in the growing season, which it was growing when we were having some rain, we're cutting, not only this school, we cut Nash and we cut Penfield also with the big tractor. So that's probably a day and a half doing them 2 buildings. The rest of the time we have about an 80-acre plot here to cut. We have a lot of bushes to trim, trees to trim. So it's pretty aggressive. And then we start probably the 3rd week in July getting ready for the fall sports, because before you know it, football will be here, soccer will be here, and field hockey will be here.
Whew, that's a lot to do, but there's still more. The high school custodial staff is also responsible for the school district supplies.
Well, it's kind of a group effort when we get a big delivery of paper towels or toilet paper or copy paper. There are big, big deliveries. And we maybe get 400 cases of paper towels, and we just line up the whole crew, and we take the rollers and we roll it into the hallway, and then we either bus it up to the different closets.
When the doors reopened this September for another school year, the North Penn High School was ready for business as usual.
Right now we are joined by Dr. Don Venema, the Assistant Superintendent of the North Penn School District. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Kyle. Nice to be here.
What kind of challenges have you had to face so far being the Assistant Superintendent?
Well, it's a little early to say what all the challenges are going to be, but I have worked in the district office, so I know a little bit about how the district operates, but I'm here in an entirely different role. As Assistant Superintendent, I have a lot more responsibilities with respect to the total program in the whole district. We have 17 schools, we have 13,000 students, we have all kinds of programs, and refamiliarizing myself with all the district operations will be a challenge to me. Technology, implementing our new technology initiative is going to be a big effort at North Penn, and that's something that I'm really excited about. Working with Dr. Hassler and his philosophy, in making sure his philosophy gets communicated to people throughout the district is part of his assistant's job, so it's therefore part of my job.
Now, Dr. Venema, we just wanted to know, what are some of your personal goals for this year as well as district-wide goals?
Well, we have a lot of things that need to be examined, explored, studied. First off, one of the most important things is reconsidering our district boundaries for the elementary schools. That's something that's going to be impacted by the fact that we put a new addition on Knapp Elementary School. It's also time for us to examine some of our practices, some of our programs. For example, we're going to take a close look at what we do in our instructional programs in grades 6 through 9. We implemented a new middle school program 4 or 5 years ago, and it's time to take a look at that and make sure that things are working like we had hoped that they would when we made those changes. We're looking at our organization as it relates to supervision of different departments in curriculum. Our department chairs, our supervisors, we're looking at that whole structure. So all of those are going to be challenges, as well as the normal challenges just in the day-to-day operations of the district.
Okay. Thanks, Dr. Veneman, for being on our show today.
Thank you, Kyle and Christy. Enjoyed being with you.
Thanks. Well, now we'll take a look at some Gwendor Elementary students who competed on a national level with their innovative science project.
Winning the Super Bowl isn't the only way to win a trip to Disney World. Being creative with your science project can land you several trips, including one to the Magic Kingdom. Recently, Gwendor students from Joan Hurd's Resource Room competed as one of 10 finalists in the Bayer National Science Foundation Award for Community Innovation.
They need to define a problem, and then they need to come up with the research to really show that there is a problem. They need to come up with a solution, and then they had to tell how the solution worked. They needed to write a 10-page paper on this, and they also needed to have some visuals to go with it.
Students Brian Berg, Laura Barucki, Connie Chung, and Tommy Geisel researched topics and decided upon water conservation. Their project was titled, "Don't Wait for the Last Flush, Conserve."
We brainstormed different community issues that we thought were a problem, and the one that we liked the best and that we thought was the biggest problem was the one on water conservation. And so we spent about a month working on that and doing a lot of research and finding out all we could about that issue.
The title of our project is Don't Wait Till the Last Flush, Conserve. This is the story of a problem of water shortage and our solution for it. Places.
Action.
This is the third time this week this has happened to me, and it's only Tuesday. Am I glad to see you, Miss Piper? Look at me, all soaked up and no water with which to rinse. It's not funny. What can I do?
What do you do when you need more water? What do you do when you need more water? What do you do when you need more water early in the morning?
Calm down, Mr. Graywater. I have been working on a new water system that will help solve your water problem.
Send the water from the showers, send the water from the showers, send the water from the showers to a holding tank. Use it to flush the toilets, use it to flush the toilets, use it to flush the toilets all the live long day.
I've even done research on my system to see if there are some similar projects. I called many plumbing supply stores and found out that Mr. Dombrowski, who lives in Percy, Pennsylvania, has just received a patent to recycle rinse water from a washing machine to flush toilets. His system will cost about $1,700 to install, and he thinks mine will cost about the same. You know, the cost depends upon the design of the house, 2-story or 1-story, whether it is a new house or one already built, or whether or not it has a basement. However, we can install it at a reasonable price, and it would save water and money. What about the bacteria in the shower water?
Look who stopped in. Our scientist, Dr. Flesh A. Lot.
You know, water from the shower is not clean enough to drink because it has been in dirty places like the shower stall and on people. It's called gray water. Gray water contains little bacteria, soap, hair, and dirt. On the other hand, the water does not need to be clean enough to drink in order to flush a toilet. It simply needs to not clog pumps, not be too cloudy, and not smell bad. Most of these needs can be met by a filter.
Filter it, on the way down, filter it, on the way down, filter it, on the way down till it's sparkly clean.
Do we really need to reuse water?
As you can see, Mr. Graywater, most of the Earth's surface is covered with water. The water in this bottle represents all the water on the Earth. 97% of this water is salt water, which leaves only 3% fresh water. Out of that 3% fresh water, only this much is usable. Since we only have so little water for household use, we really need to be careful with it. Did you know that a shower uses 8 gallons of water per minute? And if we spend 15 minutes taking a shower, we will be able to flush a toilet 16 times, or 2 days worth of flushing. If there are 255 million people in the country, we would be able to save 8 billion gallons of water a day.
That sounds good to me.
What about my daughter's long hair? I don't want that sitting in my toilet bowl. Do you?
We can handle that in our filtering system.
I'm all for this new system. It will save the country's water, and it will save me money. Not only my water bill, but my sewage bill will be less. What does this system look like?
Let's visit our builder, Miss Maudel. She's been working on a model for me.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you?
Mr. Graywater here would like to see the system you're working on.
I would be glad to show you my model, but first I would like to share some good news with all of you. The North Penn Chamber of Commerce has agreed to be our community partner. Mr. Owens, our contact person, is helping us by getting us a house in which we will install our system in so we can see how it works and how much water it actually saves. The Chamber is also going to help us educate the public by getting us airtime on the local TV and radio stations and pamphlets to send out with the local water and sewer bills. The newspapers are helping us by printing our stories. We are going to educate the public and convince builders who are building new houses to install our system. Oh, but you didn't ask for that. This is our model. Let's try it.
This is how we can all save water. This is how we can all save water. This is how we can all save water. So use our system now. Hey!
Now, won't you help us flush?
I think the most difficult part was building our model and our toilet, which it was really difficult getting it round because we had to heat it. It had so many engineering parts to it, I couldn't understand everything. So I had to really let the others take over.
Putting together the toilet so it wouldn't leak, because it's very leaky.
The Bayer National Science Foundation is designed to promote hands-on experience with science and technology. The Gwyn Noor team won first place at a regional competition and had the chance to win U.S. savings bonds and a $25,000 grant at the national competition. Even though the students didn't take away the prize, they did leave with many memorable and educational experiences.
I enjoyed watching the model work, I guess, and seeing the skit perfect almost, and yeah, getting to go to Disney World and meeting the inventor of Post-it notes.
The project is very encompassing. It allows the students to do research. It allows them to speak to different people. It allows them to do interviewing. It gets people from the community in to speak to the students.
To work as a team and to listen to everyone's opinion.
When we cooperate, we can do a lot of things that we couldn't have done by ourselves. I learned a lot. I learned how to work as a team and how to listen and suggest and know when to say stuff and when not to.
If we all work together, that we can accomplish something, and that not only grown-ups but kids can make a difference in this world too.
Well, right now we're in Conference Room A of the Educational Services Center, where large administrative, staff development, and of course, school board meetings take place.
Well, Christy, I make a motion to take a look back into late last year when North Penn High School students put on a special beach program for residents of Brittany Point Estate.
I second that motion.
Second made by Ms. Zabrowski. Any questions from the board?
Why are we showing a segment from last year?
Well, we simply didn't have enough time to show you this great program.
Oh.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion approved.
Neither rain, sleet, wind, or snow could dampen the spirits at the second annual Mayfair held at Brittany Point Estates. Organized by North Penn High School students, staff, and residents of Brittany Point Estates, this year's indoor Mayfair went off without a hitch. The main purpose of this event is to bring together many different generations together on a single project.
This is a wonderful experience for students because they have an opportunity to have interaction with residents, as well as opportunity for intergenerational activities. And the students and the adults are very much enjoying themselves. And we're just so pleased. It seems to be such a successful day. So many people have come to me and said that this is an incredible success and that they would like to have it in the future.
North Penn High School students studying manufacturing, engineering, probability, and human services began planning this event after the last one finished in May of 1997. Working with the staff and residents of Brittany Point, North Penn High School students developed a beach theme for this year's Mayfair. Once the theme was decided upon, students went hard at work on games, crafts, and activities for residents to enjoy.
Research in the library, the questions on the wheel of trivia and the roulette wheel.
This year we did a lot of research. We used the library. We used the new technology in the library. And it made all this come alive. A lot of our electronic games that are working today, there's research. The students had to do research in the library with these new computers to be able to do this.
Combining the resources of manufacturing, human services, and mathematics, students created many fair-like activities, including probability games and a miniature golf course with a not-so-miniature lighthouse.
My students, both my manufacturing one and my advanced manufacturing students, were responsible for building the prizes that we have, for the building of the lighthouses and the large lighthouse which is used for the miniature golfing behind me. The nice thing about building these projects, if it gives the students a goal to work for as far as a time, a quality product, and when they get here, they see how much someone appreciates what it is that they're building.
The students for the past month and a half or so have had to build, design, and test, and sometimes retest circuits that are designed off of the Mayfair theme. And through this challenge, they've had to set goals for themselves that had to be attainable. And what they found themselves doing was reaching that goal and saying, wow, I have time, can I better my design? And they worked through and made things much better for them as they went along.
My students are looking at probability and how probability plays into the electronic roulette, for example, and the electronic dice. So we did some background with basic probability, how it's calculated, and they're keeping a record today of how the digital dice work because it gives them a real-life example. They're seeing it in a carnival-type setting rather than in the classroom. We can do experiments, and we have done some, but this way they're seeing it in a much more realistic view.
While the sun never broke through the clouds, it didn't keep a bright and sunny atmosphere from developing inside.
I've talked to practically every resident that's been here this morning, and every one of them just said, wow, what a great time, and they all thought so much of the kids. I mean, they were glad to see the kids so involved and so enthusiastic about it. They thought it was great.
With Ken Pierce, I had a very interesting conversation about medical field careers that I could pursue. We also met with the 5 residents at Brittany Point. They helped us plan the event.
Well, it was a fun day, that's for sure. And I've been taking pictures with the camera most of the time, so I haven't done any of the actual activities. But everybody's having a good time, and I think it's great that we can get the high school and the senior citizens together for an event like this. I think it's wonderful.
I think it's great for the interplay between the students and the senior citizens here. And we get to know each other, and it's great fun.
But it gives the kids an understanding. More and more, they're coming over here and learning how we live, and now how we play.
It's interesting to hear them talk and to see them. They're really appreciating all the people, their interactions with the things they did. I think they had no idea just as big a crowd as we're having today. It's greater than it was last year. It's a little cramped inside here, but it's just really nice. Great, the appreciation of people is just overwhelming today.
I believe this teaches students how to set a goal and how to attain that goal within a certain time frame, as it seems like it's so hard for them to reach these goals, many that are set forth to them. And the feedback that they're getting is wonderful for them. They think it's great working with the residents here. It's a lot of what they expected, but there's a lot of what they not expected either. They can't believe how neat and how much fun they're having.
It comes to show that, we worked hard on what we did, and if you work hard on what you do, it can make other people happy, and it made the people here happy today. I feel real good because I worked hard on it, and I'm glad that everybody's happy about what we did.
It's fun to watch the kids interact with the adults. I don't know if you noticed, Bob, that early on there was a long line of kids watching the golf, and it was fun when someone would make a putt. The whole line cheered. It was like having a gallery for them. It was great watching the interaction between the adults and the kids, as well as the math that my kids are doing. That interaction is a very positive aspect.
It's a great event. It's intergenerational. Oftentimes, people don't really have an understanding of each generation's issues. I think as older people, they may not truly understand teenagers, and of course, teenagers truly may not understand the issues that older people deal with. And I think this is an event that brings both people together. And after a day of interacting, they both walk away with a common understanding of what each issues are. And they both walk away with a better feeling about each generation.
I get a tremendous amount of support from the people of Brittany Point in regard to the sports staff, their plant operations people, their food service people, their activities director. They all help to make this possible. And this is really a community effort. And I'm most grateful and most appreciative for that.
The Brittany Point Mayfair was another great success, bringing together all age groups for a day of understanding, fun, and celebration.
Right now, we're in the Office of School and Community Services in the ESC with the coordinator of this department, Christine Lebrowski. Thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Now, most people know community ed classes are organized through here, but what else happens here?
In addition to community ed, we have all of the publications come out of this office, whether it's a student handbook or the activities calendar or the newsletter. The website is coordinated here. North Penn Television is coordinated through this office. The North Penn Educational Foundation, any of the mailings that might come through the district are out of this office. We have the North Penn Volunteer Program, which is over 400 volunteers in the school district, is through here. You name it, we probably have a little part of it.
Now, if somebody would want to find out some information about the goings-on in the school district, would this be the correct place to call?
Absolutely. If it's just a question or if you need background materials, we regularly supply a packet of information for people moving into the district. If you have a question about a board meeting, we're the people who keep the records. Anything that's public information you can get from this office. This office also coordinates internal communication, from staff newsletters to newsletters that highlight student achievement.
Thanks for being on the show today.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Now during the summer, elementary students have the chance to keep up with their reading with the North Penn Summer Library.
Let's take a look at that program. Which library in Pennsylvania has a higher circulation of books in the summertime than the Philadelphia Public Library? The Pittsburgh Public Library? No. Temple University's library? Nope. Would you believe the North Penn School District's summer library? During the months of June, July, and August, North Penn typically checks out an average of 1,500 to 2,000 books a week. Over 1,000 students a week visited North Penn's 4 summer libraries held at Inglewood, Gwynn-Nor, Montgomery, and General Nash elementary schools.
North Penn Summer Library is a program that has been operating for more than 15 years. It was started with the idea that students needed to read over the summer.
After the initial success of the summer library, North Penn opened the Gwynn-Nor Elementary Library during the evenings to make the program accessible to more students and parents.
I think it is just overwhelming to hear these parents who don't know about the program come for the first time, and they say, wow, it's free, it's here, and we can come and spend the time.
With circulation as high as 2,000 books a week, you would think it must require quite a staff to manage this program. Each summer library has 1 librarian and 1 clerk working with 1 or 2 volunteers to service the amount of students who return and then check out more books. Montgomery Elementary School has the largest number of patrons.
Just a nice community thing to do, to volunteer, and all the children and the parents in the area really enjoy it. And it's nice for the children to have reading to do during the summer.
I love children, for one thing, and work at another library as a volunteer, North Wales Library. In fact, Margaret and I both work at North Wales Library, so we're kind of inspired with reading and with children, and we just think that reading is essential for everybody. And when we see these little children come in and enjoy so much going and choosing their book and learning how to use a marker, which is some big thing for them to do, we're just pleased that we can help out in that way.
The goal of this program is to help encourage our students to learn and read while they are not in class.
One of the things they have to understand is recreational reading is a level down from instructional reading, so that they're able to spend more time on comprehension and build these skills up. They also bring a lot of reluctant readers to the library, hoping that whenever they don't have the pressure of school, they can find an area that they really like. I enjoy doing it because I am a librarian. Anyone who works in the library is a people person. I like people. I love books and the idea of bringing them together. The joy is when you have a mom come in with tears and say, "He really read?" Or a little girl says, "Can I take an extra book because I really need it?" And when you start to develop this opportunity to expand their imagination, which is all needed whenever you go into higher levels of thinking, it's great. So, I mean, that is my reward, and I enjoy it.
Well, now we're in the business office area with Director of Finance, Carol Deddy. Tell us about your office and staff.
Thank you, Christy. The business office performs a whole lot of functions that support the rest of the school district, and I'd say generally in any one school year, every employee and perhaps every member of the community has some contact in some way or the other. Some of the examples of the things we do would be the budget, preparing of the annual budget. We're responsible for processing the payroll for the entire district, approximately 2,000 employees. We maintain their health benefits. And also, we are responsible for collecting the property taxes on an annual basis.
Now, of course, one of the departments you oversee here in the North Penn School District is the technology department.
The technology team has been extremely busy this summer, preparing for the 1,000 computers that will be brought into the school district as part of phase 1 of a multi-year technology plan, and also preparing to train the staff on the use of the new software that has been purchased.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Day, for being on the show today.
Thank you very much.
Well, let's take a quick preview of some of the technology slated to be in school this year. Technology is coming to North Penn. New computer labs, schools wired for networking and the internet, and computers in the classroom. The North Penn School District is embarking on its first major technology plan. The North Penn School Board approved Phase 1 last spring. And since that time, our technology team has been busy installing nearly 500 computers in the district's 17 schools.
We've also been ordering software, furniture, everything we needed to get in place for the school starting up in the fall, as well as the in-service that we're putting on for all of our teachers.
When Phase 1 is complete at the end of the school year, North Penn will have added more than 1,000 computers to all of North Penn's 17 schools.
The computers that we've purchased are compact Versarios, one for every one of the secondary math, English, and reading classrooms, and then one for each of the elementary classrooms, grades 4, 5, and 6, with another 3 to come in those elementary classrooms in January. Well, this fall, we're getting them set up with one computer, like this computer here, with a remote keyboard, so that they can move it around their class, work with the class. Also a large projection monitor, so that they can do things in front of the whole class. A printer, and then in January, they will be getting another additional 3 computers.
What does all of this mean for the classroom?
Well, at the elementary level, they will be able to use curriculum software that's tied directly to their language arts and math curriculum. They'll also be able to do presentations using software packages such as KidPix or HyperStudio, and they'll be able to use word processing, spreadsheets, and databases with the program of ClarisWorks. In the secondary classroom, they will be able to use their curriculum software for English, reading, and math. They will also be able to use the Microsoft Office suite for word processing, Excel and Access, which is database and spreadsheets. They'll be able to use CD-ROMs, and in the English classrooms, they'll be able to use laser discs, and they'll also be able to use the internet.
North Penn's technology plan takes into account that without meaningful and effective in-service for the teachers, the students won't reap the full benefits of integrated technology in the classroom. So part of Phase 1 includes a gigabyte of training for every teacher. During the summer, the technology team has been training a leader teacher from each school in the North Penn School District.
Well, we've had the teacher trainers in for 2 days so far in August, and during the first 2 days, we concentrated on what it means to be a teacher in a technology-rich classroom, and what our expectations are, and how we're going to progress forward.
Students and teachers that I've met since I've been here have been asking, any kind of tools, anything that they can work with, which is a fantastic thing. They're ready for it.
The exciting part is to be able to see the excitement of the teachers. They're just so geared up and ready to go, to be able to work with all these new tools in their classroom. And for me, it's really exciting to come and work with the teachers who in turn are then going to work with the other teachers in their buildings.
I think we're most excited about having 4 computers in the classroom and having them to be used both as an instructional tool, as an interactive student tool, and as a presentation tool to motivate the students to increase their learning.
What makes it really especially exciting for me is that I'm the librarian. So in my library I will have 30 new computers. So I can have whole classes in at one time, and every student will have a computer of their own to work on.
And what's really exciting is to see the action plan actually come to life. I had an opportunity to sit in some of the training sessions this summer, and I know that this technology will have a profound impact on student learning. To see what a teacher can do in a classroom by taking this equipment and tapping into a laser displayer and bringing up video, bringing up software programs, tapping into the internet to have students go into writing workshops at various universities, and then bringing to life current events that happen that day or hours before can't help but expand the learning of our students. And that's quite exciting, I believe.
Technology is here at North Penn, and it will continue to grow throughout the school year and over the next few years. The North Penn School District hopes to provide the tools our students need to compete successfully in the 21st century. And finally, we've saved the best for last, of course, and we're with Lou Rusnock, Director of Student Services and Special Education.
Now, Mr. Rusnock, what is your office responsible for throughout the district?
Well, we have a very diversified office, and probably one of the most diverse offices here in the district. First of all, we're in charge of all student registrations for children entering the district, except for those who come in and register in kindergarten in the spring. So we're often the first contact people have with the district. This requires us to inform people and parents as to what their needs to present to us when they register. For example, proof of residencies, proof of birth, and medical records for their children. In addition to that, we also keep track of child accounting. Child accounting basically is the attendance records for the entire district. This also helps drive where our state reimbursement comes from. So it's a very important aspect of the office. The things that the students probably see most from this office are the health suites and the nurses, the guidance counselors, and also special education services. And that's a wide variety of services, including speech, psychologists, learning support classes, emotional support classes, and life skill support classes.
Now, what do you enjoy most about this position?
Probably the diversity involved with it, because I get to work with students who are both in need of special education, who are need to learn through different strategies. I also get to work with the gifted youngsters who have a lot of potential and a lot of good things going on, and so that's real exciting about it. In addition to that, I have an opportunity to work with every other department, because we do affect how kids perform in school. So that's real exciting about this area.
Now, you are a fan of the Marching Knights, aren't you?
Absolutely. Wouldn't pass that up.
Good thing.
Okay, Mr. Rusnick, thanks for being on the show.
Nice seeing you.
Okay. Right now, we have a preview of the North Penn Marching Knights show, A Young Person's Guide to the Arts. The North Penn Marching Knights are at it again. Another incredible marching band extravaganza for the North Penn community.
The whole show is Young Person's Guides to the Art, and where they're going to hear the music, they're going to see different grand paintings on the field, and that's something that the audience is going to get a glance at when they come to the Night of Sound.
The Marching Knights spent 1 day a week during the bulk of the summer practicing this difficult piece of music, and 2 weeks of band camp before the start of school.
Band camp starts, it's a 2-week process, and we rehearse basically a 9 to 3 slot. We go home, take a break, and in between the music aids provide lunch. We come back following dinner, and then we have a 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock time slot.
Band camp focuses on the basics of marching and playing the music, while also learning the tradition of what it means to be a marching knight. Hours of practice help drill the precision, endurance, and work ethic needed to pull off the challenging performances of this particularly difficult piece of music.
The difficulty in the piece is that it's originally written for orchestra.
The music this year is pretty hard, but I like it a lot. It's a challenge. And the drill's hard, but once we put it together, it's going to be really awesome.
The music's harder this year than it's ever been with me here, at least, but I like it because it sounds really good, and it's always nice to have something harder.
The music is a definite challenge. It's difficult to play, it's very difficult to conduct, and but it seems like everything has really come together very nicely, very quickly. People have learned their music, and it should be really impressive.
Like many other athletes, these students give up their lives for the marching band season, eating, breathing, and sleeping the music and the drill.
The North Penn Marching Knights is just like one of the greatest organizations that I've ever really done anything in. I've wanted to do it for quite a long time, and when it finally came around my sophomore year and I had the opportunity to do it, it was like the first thing my parents didn't have to force me to do, and I gladly said I'll get out of the house and make something out of myself. So came out, had the best time of my life, and wouldn't miss it.
You get a chill, and you turn around and to greet the fans, and they say they're just cheering for you, and you're so proud to be a part of what you're doing, and your eyes fill with tears, and you're like, even they fall, your tears fall, and you don't even realize that you're crying because it's just so great.
Just the chills. You get chills all up and down you, and sometimes your eyes fill with tears, and it's just a great feeling. It's wonderful.
It's just really exciting because you can look up in the stands and you see everyone standing up, as long as you did a good job, and everyone's cheering, and you're all out of breath and everything because you just run around the field for 8 minutes, and it's just exciting because you can feel energy from everyone around you.
Playing that last note and just standing there and just kind of standing there and saying, wow, it all came together. And it doesn't matter who you are or what you've done or what you will do or whatever. You're out there, they're all cheering for you as a collective, and you've never marched taller and stood prouder any time in your life than after that last note.
Well, that's it for this edition of On Location from the Educational Services Center. We hope this program has been informative.
If you have any questions or comments for On Location, please feel free to write to us at Viewer Comments, 401 East Hancock Street, Lansdale, Pennsylvania, 19446.
Email us at nptvinfo@aol.com.
Be sure to join us all year long every Tuesday and Thursday night at 6:30 for On Location, as North Penn Television celebrates its 5th anniversary. Until next time, I'm Kyle Berger.
And I'm Christy Zabrodsky. We'll see you next time when we go On Location.
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle, the circle that helps this circle. It starts when we recycle trash at home. It's completed when we buy products made from recycled materials. Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-CALL-EDF for your free Buy Recycled shopping guide. 1-800-CALL-EDF.